welcome back to another episode of Kate and Isaiah Living Large. I'm Isaiah.
That leaves me to be Kate.
And on this episode, we're going to do a Reddit Q&A, basically. We've got a list of questions from Reddit, and we're going to go ahead and try and answer them as best as we can.
Yeah, so when I was brainstorming episodes to do this week, I have to admit, because it's kind of funny, I Googled topics for fat people. And this Reddit list came up, and it is, what are some questions that you want to ask obese people that you're too uncomfortable to ask IRL, which for people who don't know what IRL means, that means in real life.
Ooh, talking leet speak over there.
I don't know what that meant.
Oh, that's even more nerdy. Yeah. So I'm excited to do this topic. It seems like it'll be very fun and interesting, and we'll answer the best of our ability. Before we do, what kind of life updates you got going on?
I mean, like I mentioned last week, I've got a bunch of comedy shows coming up. I'm doing a bit of a campground tour. I'm going to be at Pinecone on July 13th and Crystal Beach on July 20th. I'm going to do the Doriad Arts Festival mid-July, July 18th, Thursday, in the middle of all of that. And other dates and venues all around. It's so fun. So much fun. Like,
you need like a website just like with a calendar of where you're at.
I wouldn't be able to keep it up. I keep thinking like, oh, maybe I should just do like one post on Facebook of all the places I'm going to be. And I'm like, do I actually have fans that are looking for me personally? Probably not.
Some people might be. I'm sure you don't have a group yet that just follows you around everywhere.
No.
Oh, well. Someday. All right, let's just get into it. Let's answer some questions.
Yes, all right. So first question, and I'm reading these in not chronological order that they're listed on the website. For the very obese, how easily can you wash all parts of your body? Do you have the flexibility to reach everywhere? Like, how do you reach the center of your back? A long brush?
So for me, I do. The center of my back is the hardest part. I think that's the hardest one I get. My wife has this thing she bought that sticks on the wall that I washed my back with. I don't like it as much as she does. I would probably prefer a long brush. I've used one of those in the past. I kind of prefer that. But in that, I don't have issues with everything else. I mean, the legs, it's like sticking your leg up on the side and washing it instead of like bending down. And that I don't have a huge issue other than the center of my back.
So for me, I've always had T-Rex arms. And so the weight only exacerbates that as an issue. I've always had issues reaching places because I've got super short arms and a super long torso. And then add some rotundity to it, and it makes it harder, of course. But I currently have a removable shower head.
Oh, that too.
So I dump some body wash, some body wash back there, and use the shower head to do that and other things. And I don't know why I'm getting all gravelly about it. Holy. And yeah, but that is yes, of course, it's a challenge. And like to shave my legs and stuff, I put my leg up on the tub and do the whole thing,
stretch thing. Yeah.
One of my biggest fears is those single stall showers with a glass door
with no edge.
With no edge, and then I just feel like I'm crammed in there, like if I'm visiting someone else's house. I'm not gonna say those are the highest quality showers I've ever had.
Yeah. I do love the removable shower head.
Yeah, that's a dream.
Super amazing.
I don't know that now that I've had one, I don't think I could live without one.
When I travel, I have contemplating buying one and just installing it in the hotel.
I believe that.
So that I'm just like, because the hotel showers are the worst.
And you think they'd be really good, but they are not.
No.
So that is that. I also have a long brush. So this next question is, I'm fat, but not super fat. How do y'all wipe your ass? Like the new guy in the Jackass Forever movie, his arms are so short. Well, whatever. I'm not going to get into that. How do you get proper clean, or how do you get your pooper clean without a bidet?
Oh man, I wish I had a bidet. I 100% want one. But for me, it's not that hard a struggle. It's like you just kind of have to twist proper. I guess that's the key is just being able to twist.
Same. And ideally I get a shower after, but also the twist is key. It's like I remember one time I was using the washroom at work at a previous job, and the twist caused me to go fairly like on the edge of the toilet and lean way back, and my knees are coming toward the floor, and some lady was like, "Are you okay in there?" And I was like, "I'm fine. Why'd you?" Like, I got kind of like, "Why are you talking to me in here?" She's like, "It looked like you're falling over," and I was like, "Don't look at me."
Yeah, it's all about the twist. I will say the hardest time I've ever had was I got tendonitis.
Oh,
And so then I can't move your arm really that well to begin with. And so then you're like trying to like move around and like, I don't know. It's hard to explain, but you'll see it in the video.
well,
It's like
not fully.
no. But it's like, yeah, it's hard to like move around and stretch.
But in fairness, it'd be hard with anyone with tendonitis to wipe. That's not just a
It was brutal.
large person thing.
Yeah, it was definitely super brutal.
And you, but then the truth is too, is you do get used to doing whatever you do.
Yes.
So you do what you can to get clean,
Yeah, exactly.
because there's no poopy stink around here.
I do want a day though. They're so bad.
I'm kind of scared of them. I don't like the wet bum.
Well, yeah. Next question.
The soggy bottom. What is your favorite comfort food, and what do you like to eat most?
Oh my goodness, that's a tough question. I think my favorite comfort food, I like chips. I like a nice barbecue chip, like a tangy barbecue chip, not like a spicy barbecue chip.
Okay.
That's probably my favorite comfort food. What do I eat most?
What do you like to eat?
What do I like? What do I like to eat most? Oh, I love the Big Tide Club sandwich. I love the Big Tide Club sandwich. Shout out to Big Tide. I haven't talked about Big Tide in a while.
You haven't. I love that place.
Yeah, I do love the club sandwich. And I just like, honestly, it's more about just going to Big Tide. I think that's
It's a
kind of
comfortable place.
Yeah, for sure. What about you?
Honestly, anything with melted cheese on it,
Yeah.
like pizza, grilled cheese, mac and cheese, spaghetti with cheese, any simple carbohydrate with melted cheese. And same answer for both questions. It makes me feel warm inside, makes me feel warm outside,
Yeah.
makes me question all my life choices. But I'm comforted by it.
Speaking of mac and cheese, have you had the mac and cheese from the place in Area 506, the smokehouse there?
No.
Oh my gosh. Like pulled pork mac and cheese.
You know what? It sounds delicious, and don't get me wrong, I don't need a lot of extra with my mac and cheese.
Whatever.
The only thing I really like extra mac and cheese occasionally, not every time, is like a buffalo chicken.
Mm-hmm. I get that.
And you wonder why I'm fat. Like the melted
Listen,
cheese and the simple carbohydrates.
It's food. I love food. I have a problem, but I love food.
Here's a great question. How on earth did you get to be so fat? When you were a little bit fat, didn't that set off alarm bells?
I think we've talked about this a few times. I mean, obviously you start noticing your stuff getting fat, but like you also don't at the same time, like you until you hit a certain point, at least in my experience, it's like, oh, I am fat. And then at that point it's like, well, I try to get it off, but it's really hard. And sometimes the more I try, the fatter I get.
For me, I've always felt fat. Like from a certain age, early teenager, I've always felt fat. And so then I would always be like, well, I'm fat. And then I'd try to lose weight, and I would lose weight, and then I'd come back on in full force. So the class act. What is me with language today? The classic yo-yo situation. And yes, I've always thought I was fat. And it's only now when I look back that I realize that I wasn't as fat. Yeah. And now I'm like super fat, but I've always felt the way I am today. So it became this like self-fulfilling prophecy almost. And you know, I think that's true of a lot of people where they yo-yo their whole lives.
For sure.
and it's really bad for your heart, I'm told.
I think for me, I mean, I was always really active in high school, right? We talked about it. I was really, really active in high school. And so when I became not so active, but kept eating the same stuff and drinking a lot more, it just came on and didn't notice it, or maybe didn't notice it wasn't the word. Maybe I didn't want to know.
Right. And then it just, and we've talked about this before too. If every single person in the entire world ate the exact same thing every single day, we'd still have all different body shapes.
Yeah.
Like
100%.
there is something to be said for just pure genetics. It's not all what you consume. So I would say some of this, all of this jiggle is just genetically what I have to fight against.
Yeah, 100%.
So there's that. A lot of Reddit type things.
Good old Reddit. It's a interesting space sometimes.
Okay, here's the last question. Somebody answered the "how do you wipe your butt" question, and they said, "I stand up like a normal person, not like the uncultured swines who sit and wipe."
All right.
Do you ever, this is a good question, do you ever get buildup under or inside your rolls, like skin and sweat and stuff, like in between your toes or something?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you wash as best you can, but like for sure, there's sometimes it's just there's a little bit more scrubbing that should be happening, and it just happens.
Yeah, of course. Especially in this heat.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, there's a lot of rubbing.
Yeah.
And like chafing, which is unpleasant. And yeah, you shower really well, and because one of my biggest fears as a large person is stinking.
Yes.
Because I'm already dealing with the thought of people looking at me going, "Oh, what a fatty," and assuming because of the way I look that I must be lazy, or that I must be this, I must be that. And I'm putting a lot of stuff on other people and assuming what they think, but it has been confirmed in past. I don't think everybody thinks that way, but I do think there's contingent of people that are going, she needs to do more.
For sure. There's definitely people like that out there.
And because people have said it to me under their breath or not. But so I'm very cognizant, very conscientious, and dread the idea of stinking.
Yes.
And so I take great care to make sure that I wash any folds and places that may retain some sweat. And I've definitely missed and definitely been like, ew, all right, should have done that a little better. But yeah, of course. And I think anybody knows, like, they get buildup of whatever, wherever there's any kind of moisture generated.
Yeah. My skin flakes often, and so I get like buildup of like skin flake every so often.
Right.
And it's gross, but
it is gross, and I'm so happy to talk about it. But it's important to talk about it because, like, if for a long time I just thought I was alone. I was like, oh god, now I have to wash like, not that you don't have to wash, you always have to wash everywhere, but like, this fold's new.
yeah it's just discovering that new spot. You're like, oh, that's not great.
Like, I think all women know about underboob sweat, and
I know about underboob sweat. God, underboob sweat's the worst.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable, and like if it chafes and then it's flaming and hot.
Oh. Especially in like the weather we had all last week, it was just like constant sweat. Oh,
it's like a bra. You're damned if you do, damned if you don't. You need it to keep everything going, and then if you don't wear one, chafing.
I guess. I mean,
I always wear a bra.
I don't wear a bra ever, so it's, you know, maybe get the bro from Seinfeld.
The man's ear.
The man's ear. Yes. But yeah, I think it's an interesting topic that we don't talk about very often.
No, and we haven't, like, on this show where we've talked about a lot of different things, we haven't talked about the physicality a lot of that. And I thought about bringing it up in the past, so I'm glad Reddit did it for us about like there have been times where I've had to back to the butt wiping question where I've had like a super sore back, and that actually becomes a real acrobatic maneuver of
trying to like
bending and being in pain and being like, oh God, what have I done to deserve this?
Yes. Bidet. Everyone needs a bidet.
Yeah.
I understand your fear of them, but
the old Soggy Bottom Boys.
The old Soggy Bottom Boys. But
that's a band that played No Brother Where Art Thou, by the way.
Bidets are amazing. Everyone should have one. Should be a given right.
Instead of buy us a coffee, buy us a bidet.
Buy us a bidet. But I think that those were some interesting questions. I think we should scour Reddit again at some point and do some more questions. Maybe.
And if anybody has any questions for us,
if you don't want to ask in the comment section, I believe there is a way in YouTube that you can find our Gmail account, and you can always email us, and we can do it anonymously. Maybe we can set up something that can have like a Q&A kind of thing. That'd be fun.
Hashtag Ask a Fatty.
Hashtag Ask a Fatty. I like it. But I think we're going to wrap this up. Where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me at Fat Caitlin on TikTok, at Kate D on Instagram, at Caitlin Dean on Facebook, and at Kate and Isaiah Living Large also on Facebook.
And I am at Maritime Brews on all of the social medias. And as usual, you can still continue to donate at Buy Me a Coffee. And then if you are listening on the podcast areas, you can come watch the video and see us do all our crazy motions on YouTube. And if you are listening on YouTube, if you can like, share, subscribe, comment, that definitely is appreciated and goes a long way. And if you are also listening, you can hit that notification button so that you get notified when we post the next episode. But until next week, bye.
Bye.